I want to talk about one last sweep for Shiba Inu. You might not be familiar with what I'm talking about, but there's a couple charts we've looked at here and there that might give us a good indication of when SHIB is going to make this big extension. Some things haven't played out to perfection, but other things have. And I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. It's important that we look at some of the quote unquote ugly with the good as well. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So we know for a long time Shiba Inu fundamentals have been very good. And that's one of the reasons why SHIB has made it from last bull market cycle into this bull market cycle. There are many meme coins, guys, that did not make it, that fell away and went to nothing. That hasn't been SHIB. SHIB has done pretty well at times in this market cycle. And again, the big thing that we need is some more confidence in the market. We need some more optics from retail. We need adoption like we've been talking about. Despite all that, despite that lacking, SHIB is still a $7 billion plus asset. Something to think about, right? In terms of SHIB right now, we're obviously trying to, flip around and break out and create this next fun extension. And again, we can get a little bit of FOMO behind that too, but there's a couple things here that we need to watch very closely. One of these is actually pretty good. The other ones need just a little bit of work here. Now, what I will say is we were talking about that SHIB ETH chart and this potential bounce that was coming off of this range right back here around the 28th or so. And unfortunately, we just had such ugly red in the markets that we had capitulation from retail. Go figure. Liquidations in the space while ETH was actually holding up pretty well. So of course, SHIB in the SHIB ETH chart just didn't hold up. Now, that being said, we are starting a little bit of a green day. Maybe that'll turn into something. Maybe it won't. We have the potential right now for this SHIB ETH chart to actually drop all the way down to these lows that we last experienced back in February of 2024. This isn't to scare anybody. And this isn't to say that SHIB price even needs to drop. We could stay right here. And this is about an 8% difference, if I remember correctly. Yeah, about 8% or so. We could see ETH move 8% over the course of the next few days while SHIB does nothing. And maybe that's the moment for this trigger to happen. All right. Now, obviously, there's no guarantees. Nobody knows what's going to happen for sure. But I find it very hard to believe that Ethereum is just going to keep moving, get to this point of breakout at about $4,100, and then ERC20s like Shiba Inu are just going to still stay flat. I don't think that's the case at all. There are so many things pointing towards this breakout ahead. So that's what we need to obviously watch very closely is, do we see SHIB climb back to structure before we make that extension, or do we come back down to here when that happens? Now, the last sweep I was talking about for Shiba Inu is in this SHIB dominance chart. So we talked about this rally back towards our 100-day moving average here. We did get that rejection all the way back on July 20th, 21st, and then we're obviously coming back down to the bottom of this trend, and it's looking like we may in fact sweep this one last time. You guys can see SHIB many times has swept the bottom of the trend before moving to the top, swept the bottom of the trend, obviously rejection right there, swept the bottom of the trend, rejection right there. So now we could be talking about SHIB dominance coming down to somewhere around 0.19%. Not a big dominance drop off, to be honest with you guys. I mean, obviously, if ETH surges and does well, just look at this. This is a 7% drop in terms of dominance in the crypto market. Remember, doesn't mean that Shiba Inu needs to drop even. You can see BTC make some moves up, Ethereum makes some moves up, SHIB stay the same, and that's how we get there. But it's looking like that might be what we do before SHIB tries to, once again, make another extension to the upside in terms of SHIB dominance and make another extension to the upside in terms of price. What I will say has been looking for very good for SHIB, though, is when we look at this SHIB BTC chart. I don't look at this too much. This market cycle has obviously been kind of ugly for SHIB versus BTC. Actually, in totality, it has. I don't know why this doesn't go back further here, but I guess if we look back, back through history, we'd be down here, and this would be kind of this big bull flag we've been building for a very long period of time. But what we're seeing right now is a potential bottom versus BTC on Shiba Inu. This has actually been building since all the way back here on June 22nd, has not set a new low. We've been setting slightly higher highs, slightly higher lows. And that's a great sign. You guys can see the slightly higher low here on July 14th, slightly higher low now yesterday. Could this in fact be where SHIB versus BTC flips around, potentially makes a run towards that 200-day moving average? Same thing we got to watch here, though. Those rejections at our 100-day. Those are some pretty big signs and pretty focal points that we need to pay attention to just moving forward. And again, this isn't to create fear or uncertainty or anything like that. That's just the nature of the charts. These things are pretty important. I will say, in terms of BTC dominance, we're looking good. USDT dominance starting to drop off again, trying to create the waterfall. That's a waterfall, the guys there. This is the water flowing over the edge, kind of the foam on the bottom there. So that's our target where we're trying to head to right now. We're trying to see if we can, I don't want to say convince, but if you can have enough confidence from the money that's on the sidelines to start to re-enter the space. That's really what is going to be the big trigger that causes this retail optics from outside the space, that triggers adoption. But it's just a question of, when is that going to happen? When are we going to see this waterfall per se take place? So I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.